the Senate will not be bullied. We are doing our work in the interest of Nigeria. And by the time we come up with our final position, it will reflect the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. And not only that, any reform that we can make, painful as the reform may be, so long as this Senate is convinced that it is in the interest of Nigerians, we will go ahead with it with a view to bringing our economy on a forward march in support of the administration. But we will not also shy away from deleting or abrogating or stopping whatever we feel is not in the public interest. But for the tax reform bills, we believe that there are too many provisions there that would definitely help Nigerians. We can't imagine what it means for businesses that earn less than 50 million not to pay tax. We can't imagine what it means for multiplicity of taxes to be abrogated. We can't imagine what it means for people who earn less than the minimum wage or even minimum wage not to pay tax. So the exemptions are such that up to 100 million Nigerians will benefit from this tax reform bill. So let's not listen to social media. Let's not listen to Arise Television. And I hope they are well guided with the explanation of the Senate leader. Yes.
So, the essence of what I am saying is that it's important that members of public are patient with us. They understand the legislative process that we have to follow. They understand our role in the Constitution. Any attempt from any quarter to intimidate the Parliament will be undemocratic, and we will not allow ourselves to be distracted. But we will encourage consensus, we will encourage discussions, engagement at all levels. But we cannot be bullied into adopting a certain procedure. As far as we are concerned, the tax reform bills are alive in this hallowed chamber. They are receiving consideration at various levels, and we are open to discussions, to negotiations, to interface. But let it not be said anywhere that we suspended further consideration of these bills. And also, it would be laughable for anybody to also think or say or report that the bills were withdrawn. Because like I said, there are executive bills that can only be withdrawn by the executive. And there's no reason to do so. Because these bills, we believe, are in overriding public interest, and will do everything possible to ensure that across geopolitical interests, across, political parties, across every religious interest, everybody that has concern, civil society, everybody that has concern is given a chance to contribute to the passage of these laws. I thank you, Mr. President, and I conclude by saying that the tax reform bills for us are a work in progress, and we have the next 6 weeks to do this and finalize and pass it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Elaborate on the point of order. You came under Order 42 and also the constitutional provisions. And the Constitution is the ground norm. We can't argue with the Constitution. And Order 42 says that we should not engage in debates. And we should not also bring about any controversial matter. But I must say that from your explanation, it will appear that Arise Television was totally misled into thinking that the bills were suspended or withdrawn by the Senate. Because I watched that news when the governor of Nasarawa was asked, now that the bills have been withdrawn, are you happy? The National Assembly, we were all elected to do our work. And that is the work of lawmaking in the overall interest of Nigeria. We do not do our work through social media, neither do we do it through any committee or congregation of the church or any forum of any nature. We do our work according to our conscience in the best interest of Nigerians. And the processes of lawmaking must be further explained to the public. The moment the bills went through second reading in the Senate, it simply means that the bills are alive. the next procedure is for the Committee on Finance to commence the process of consultations and public hearing with a view to bringing recommendations back to this hallowed chamber. But in the wisdom of the Senate yesterday, we had, in a closed session, set up a committee to be headed by the minority leader before the passage of the bill of the second reading. And we said, in the event that some people are either uneducated on some aspects of the bill, or confused, or there are gray areas to be sorted out, they should interface with the necessary executive quarters, from the chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service to the Attorney General of the Federation, and if need be, even Mr. President. That committee was an internal mechanism of the Senate, different from the Committee on Finance. And I think what was done yesterday, was in line with even the directive of Mr. President. The advert committee is working in line with the directive of the President. And it also shows that this Senate is composed of men of wisdom and foresight. Before even the President gave this directive, we had already, before we passed our second reading, set up an adult committee in the event of any gray area. So if there is any governor, or any stakeholder in Nigeria, where no matter whether the person is a religious leader or a businessman that has problem with the bill, you know where to go to. Public hearing. The Senate will not be bullied. We are doing our work in the interest of Nigeria. And by the time we come up with our final position, it will reflect the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. And not only that, any reform that we can make, painful as the reform may be, so long as this Senate is convinced that it is in the interest of Nigerians, we will go ahead with it with a view to bringing our economy on a forward march in support of the administration. But we will not also shy away from deleting or abrogating or stopping whatever we feel is not in the public interest. But for the tax reform bills, we believe that there are too many provisions there that would definitely help Nigerians. We can't imagine what it means for businesses that earn less than 50 million not to pay tax. We can't imagine what it means for multiplicity of taxes to be abrogated. We can't imagine what it means for people who earn less than the minimum wage or even minimum wage not to pay tax. I hope the exemptions are such that up to 100 million Nigerians will benefit from these tax reform bills. So let's not listen to social media. Let's not listen to Arise Television. And I hope they are well guided with the explanation of the Senate leader. Yes.
You see, if you have watched this video and listened to what Senate President Godswill Akpabio has got to say regarding this tax bill, it's just in coherence with what I had said earlier, that this bill will be passed despite what your opinion is, despite what the public outcry is. The bill will be passed as long as there are more senators endorsing the bill and more House of Representative members endorsing the bill. The bill will be passed. And he said, if there is any governor or any stakeholder in Nigeria, whether the person is a religious leader or a businessman that has a problem with the bill or tax reform as we call it, you know where to go. The public hearing. The Senate will not be believed. What will your input or your take do at the public hearing? It's just for you to know what is contained in the bill and all that. That's what happens at the public hearing. At the public hearing, the decision, whatever thing that happens at the public hearing will not affect or influence the passing of the bill. The bill has already entered second reading. It's just third reading for it to be passed into law. But it's unfortunate that the Senate President will sit in this Hello Chamber that I now call this Hello Chamber to call Arise TV out that you should not listen to Arise TV. There are other ways he should have said that you don't listen to some media houses and all. He just called Arise TV out. He's actually bullying, using his platform, using the chambers to bully a television network. We saw videos yesterday, sponsored protesters that went to Arise TV station to protest, after which they were, fighting for the money that they were promised them. How will you just... Yes, I know what Ruben Abati did in the past 2 weeks. I did not like it. But why will he call Arise TV out? Because maybe Channels TV, TVC is government television network. They are reporting in favor of the government. It happens. And they are calling, let's not listen to Arise TV. It's shameful that he will sit on that Hello Chamber and start calling television network out. Arise TV, government matters, they are reporting what is really happening. I know it already that this bill will be passed. There is no two ways about it. Currently, we have majority of the senators endorsing the bill. We see Labour Party senators and House of Representative members joining APC. I told a lot of people Tinubu is ready to win every lawmaker to join him in APC, so that he'll be able to win. Before 2025 finish, Tinubu would have won his election before it even begins. That is what I know Tinubu for. He starts on time. But this bill, they said companies that earn below 50 million naira will not pay tax. Those that are earning below minimum wage will not pay tax. But as of today, they have already mandated the CBN to be deducting, or banks, CBN has mandated banks to be deducting 50 naira for every 10,000 naira received. That's part of the tax anyway. If you're going to be deducted 50 naira for every 10,000 naira you receive, that's part of the tax. And how much will POS charge you for the same amount? You are indirectly paying the tax. But we'll see where this thing will lead to.